Okay. Um, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and start. If that's all right with you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Beltran. I'm the executive director of MakeWater.org, where we challenge students to be citizen scientists and innovate water purification. Um, I have with me Jessica Paz, who is helping us on our mission to change people's minds and culture around bidet use in the United States. How's it going, Jessica?
Hi, it's going good. Apologize if I sound stuffy. There's a lot of allergy
Mhm.
season right now. So,
Yeah, everybody's going through that. I hear that. So we want to take this meeting, to briefly kind of just dive into what we're doing with this bidet project. So it could be kind of a reference for somebody in the future who maybe wants to know more about what we're trying to do, what our goals are, why we started it, a little bit of history, how it got funded, which is another interesting story. Um, so I think with that, I'll just start to say where it all began. Um, so when COVID times came about, there was a toilet paper shortage at all the stores. And one of the things that my family thought about, like my wife and I were like, why don't we get a bidet, try it out, uh, to kind of like get around using as much toilet paper. Um, and we did, and we loved it, and we thought it was great. We learned a lot about different parts of the world using bidets differently. They're more common in some places of the world than others. They come in different forms. I mean, I learned a lot when we bought one, like sort of looking into it. And I also knew a little bit about it after having traveled, like in Japan. They have the most high-tech bidets you could ever think of over there. And then just other parts of the world that maybe have like a water sprayer that they use. And all of those things I feel like are just kind of like make more sense than how I grew up here in the United States, like not having any of that and just plain old toilet paper. But then on top of that, um, I remember growing up, wipes weren't a staple in like the bathroom, but then wipes became something that was very commonly used. But then with that, it became an issue for local communities, the water infrastructure, because they would clog really easily and be costly to repair. I think they mix with grease in the pipes, and they can really like get like really clog up the pipes. So that was this other reasoning of why, well, maybe if you use a bidet, you'll use less wipes. Um, so anyway, long story short, I had this idea since, around COVID time, because MakeWater deals with like taking technology or a different approach to water, and maybe trying to see if there's something else there, or trying to innovate or try something new. So in the back of my mind, I always thought, why aren't bidets more of a thing? Can we do something with MakeWater? And it took a while. It never felt like the right time because there was just a lot of other programs that we were working on and activities. But this year, I really felt it was time to try it out and seek funding for a pilot. So we actually made a proposal to the Nouns DAO, which is a NFT community in the crypto space, which is a whole nother conversation in itself if you don't really know much about that realm. But there's a lot of projects out there that will take proposals and fund them with a treasury that they have built up through community, funding put together. So I will actually, let's see, let me share my screen. I will show um, our proposal. So this is it. It This is my alter ego on Twitter and in the NFT space, Triggedytron. We proposed this and it passed 53-16, which is awesome. It was something that I was like going around talking to all the voters. Everybody that owns this NFT is a vote towards what they do with the treasury of the funds. We got to shoot a really cool video with GJ Castro, who's also on our team. But really, we're asking for about 35 or 34,000 to provide low-income families with these. We added the Nouns logo on it to kind of incorporate their sponsorship or their being part of helping us out, to educate the community on their benefits and produce high-quality video content showcasing the initiative. I'm actually going to play this video right here so people can see it. That's all right. Hello there. My name is Ryan Beltran. I'm the executive director of the nonprofit MakeWater.org, and I want to talk to you about bidets today. Just like this one, right here. Bidets are globally recognized for their personal hygiene, infrastructure, and cost-saving benefits, but they're surprisingly underutilized in the United States. I believe MakeWater and Nouns DAO can change that. If you're feeling overwhelmed by climate change, MakeWater.org actually challenges you to do something about it. We have years of experience working with thousands of students and educators from all around the world. We activate students to be innovators and citizen scientists, where they can actually make an impact in the real world, and maybe even find a career path along the way. So making bidets a mainstay in the United States is our next challenge. We have a proposal on the Nouns DAO to launch a scalable initiative where we give away bidets to low to middle income communities. So we can find out why we think this is so important by learning what a bidet is in the first place. It's an attachment that fits onto a toilet that sprays water to clean the user. Then all you need is just a small amount of toilet paper to pat yourself dry. This means the process is both hygienic and economical. A household can reduce up to 75% of their toilet paper and wipe usage and expenses. Wipes, unlike toilet paper, do not break down easily. They have incurred significant damage to local water infrastructure.
Cooking grease combined with baby wipes is ruining equipment and has workers doing overtime to weed it out at the Department of Environmental Protection.
Local water professionals have to deal with wipe clogs all the time. It's very costly, and it's not good on our already aging infrastructure. So while the proposal's up for vote, we're actually doing a fundraiser at the same time with our partner Endowment. Anybody that donates 0.05 ETH or more through our endowment page will be eligible for a limited edition Nouns bidet with a golden noggle knob. We won't make these anymore just for this run as a thank you for your donation. And if you don't want the bidet or you don't want to give away your address or information, that funding will go back to helping give these bidets out to the community and this pilot project. So we have a pilot location, we have a team ready, we have professionals on board. With the Nouns community help, we can revolutionize the use of bidets in the United States. So let's make some history, Nouns. Let's pass this prop. I love making videos, so that was fun to make. And it helped get the story across for our proposal. So that was long-winded about the history. I have here Jessica Paz, who I've worked with in the past from her time working at a utility. And I want to give her the floor to kind of chat about or kind of give it a little bit of background about yourself and how you got connected with us. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, I think we've worked together probably 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, my time at the utility, I was an educator and communicator, and so starting with MakeWater, met through mutual friends in the water industry, and I saw your programs with your electrocoagulation kits, tried them out with some kiddos at summer camps and workshops, and they loved them. So it's been a lot of fun working together. And over the years, through COVID and through all these different challenging times of the year of trying to get these kiddos more involved, and it's been fun. And so also my time at the utility, since I did go around learning about every aspect of the department, I did go out in the field and I did see a lot of I guess clogs. We did have it was all preventative measures with those we call them Vector trucks that go out and they pressure water through the system so that they can remove those clogs from grease or from wipes. And I've seen some of the lift stations where these wipes just become rags and they just clump together and they become heavy and they make it hard for the lift stations to function. And that causes a strain on the utility and it can actually cause things like sanitary sewer overflows that we don't want our customers or residents to go through because that is a health and sanitation issue. So all of these kind of things merge together of educating the public about water use and conservation and even just wipes and flushing and all over time just kind of educating the public on everything. And kind of when you brought up that proposal of like, oh, I'm gonna do a bidet revolution, it's like that sounds interesting. What are you talking about? And then with the catchy wet butt so what kind of name, that seemed interesting. So now that I do kind of help out with some projects here and there, I saw that this could be something that we could work together on. How can we educate utilities? How can we educate customers? And how can we make a difference in this world with a bidet? It started off with like, okay, yeah, something like there was a toilet paper shortage. Okay, that started off. Okay, what can we do if that happens again? There is a need for sanitation and you want cleanliness and safety. So with wipes, that is an extra expense for people too, because you're not only buying toilet paper, you're now buying wipes. And then if you're buying wipes and you're not educated about it, about the proper disposal, you flush them and then you can cause clogs in your own house. That costs repairs for a plumber and then goes out into the infrastructure that causes repairs and damages for your utility, which can cause rate increases. You never know. Like it could all just make a snowball effect. So the more educated our community is, the more involved they are, the more we can help them. So this kind of cultural shift of using bidets in these bathroom practices in the U.S. It's kind of weird because you said I haven't traveled anywhere that has bidets used, but I've seen it in movies where, like, especially Japanese in
Yeah.
Japan that uses bidets. And so I guess a lot of people think, oh, it's only for like elite people or like you have to be really rich to have a bidet in your house, or
Yeah.
you have to have a lot of technology or you have to understand it. And so to make it something that is easily attainable will definitely benefit the community. I said it not only helps with like conservation with just water conservation with the usage, it reduces the infrastructure strain, it helps saving money, hygiene and health, some sustainability and education. So I think that
Yeah.
overall project is going to be great.
It was great to connect with you with this because I think that was part of like what made sense of kind of going forward with this is connecting with somebody who has such experience in the industry, whereas I do not. There's some parts where I'm an outsider. I've worked with utilities a lot in the past. I have gone on some of the tours, but it's like one of those things that I kept these check marks kept coming off. We're like, yeah, it would make sense if more people use bidet, like for the general community. And then also the other side of it was like, from like a marketing background or like being into that with what I do and what I've done in the past, thinking like what's not working right now, and what might work. And part of it was like, well, what if there was a way to get economical bidets to be provided to communities, like maybe on like a small basis, like something that could potentially be scaled out where there's an ROI for the local utility or something like that, or there's sponsors involved that kind of help with the cost. If something like that could be scaled out, because that I feel like is one of the ways that this could change the shift the culture, because otherwise it's like you don't see them at stores, You don't see them like when you go to a restaurant in their toilet. You don't you know, like a lot of people don't have them or talk about them. But I will tell you, once you start bringing up bidet in a conversation, then people do want to talk about it because they're like they're curious. They're like, oh, you have one, or like somebody will have a story about a bidet or something. And like ever since I started kind of getting the ball rolling, it's kind of interesting the sort of conversations and the interests that people have. But I really like this route of, and again, this is a pilot, something that we want to try out. And we are actively looking for collaborators, preferably with water utilities that may want to apply this in certain small communities and see how it works out. But the idea being that if we give a household a bidet, educate them on how to use it, how to install it, and I think that's the way to go, because if they have it, they're going to talk about it. Somebody else is going to want one. If it's like provided by the utility, I think it's one of those things that will like start the conversation going really rapidly. And even if we do like social media things where we educate through social media, but also engage with them and have them talk back about it, or answer questions or ask questions, I think that's a fun, and that's why we had fun with the name, like Wet But So What. What's something that kind of, you know, stands out, is funny, not too serious, even though we are serious about what we're doing. I take that honestly from some of the water utilities that I've seen. Sometimes they'll have fun with talking about toilet related things. So yeah, this is something that I'm really excited to see pass with the nouns. We have some funding we have some bidets that we are ordering to be able to give out. We are also, as you saw in that video, doing another additional fundraiser for anybody predominantly in that group that wants like one with the golden knob, just as something to like tout that they got one of the few ones of those, but a way to raise funds for this program. That's another route that we're going. But then also so that more people will have a bidet. So if they donate, we'll be gifting them a bidet, and that's one other family or user that will be educated, will be using it, will be talking about it. I really think that's a really good route for growth within this. But it's the data that we want too. It's like that's what we want to know early on. I'm very much in the camp of like fail first, like try to find out what doesn't work, and nobody wants to waste anybody's time, you know. So with this pilot, we want to see if this thesis, if this hypothesis, if this theory of like that I just laid out, like can we scale up this, you know, being able to provide some bidets to communities and also get data back to see how it works, our clogs like being reduced in that area. Yeah, what do you think some of the next steps might be for us?
So essentially, kind of that revolution you're talking about, it's happened before in a sense of conservation, to where WaterSense and EPA kind of did this whole product use of buy these WaterSense shower heads, low flow shower heads, buy these aerators. These are all going to help you conserve water in the home. And a lot of utilities have also purchased kits to give out to their community members as well throughout the years, where it's like a box kit with a few simple items, household things to repair leaks, things to replace old shower heads that were inefficient, kind of make sure that your toilet isn't leaking, things like that. So over time, it's been about since the 90s that those have been kind of given out to communities, and people kind of are more aware, they conserve more, and they're kind of like, oh, okay, if I buy these kind of shower heads, I'm going to save money on my utility bill and save the earth. So it's all those little things that over time it kind of gets people thinking. And if this is another catalyst for a change, then why not? And kind of like you were saying with the data, getting utilities involved or getting our communities involved, if we find some organization, a utility, or whoever that's interested, we could possibly find out, okay, what areas in your community are having a lot of, I guess, clogs? What's going on with your lift stations? Is there a certain area that maybe your customers need education on wipes? Maybe do they use it a lot? I know some areas with a lot of nursing homes or hospitals, or just they're just throwing wipes down the toilet like a trash can. And
Mhm.
so maybe going out there providing education to the community in that neighborhood, maybe a couple streets or something, letting them know, okay, this is what's going on. This is what happens when you flush wipes. What can we do to alleviate the strain on your infrastructure? What's it going to happen? What's it going to cost you? And if the plumber goes by, things like that, and then offer them a solution. Hey, we have bidets.
Mhm.
You kind of you help us find out if are you saving money on your using toilet paper? Are you gonna save money? Our utility is gonna save money on having to go out so often and making these calls to lift stations, repairs to lift stations, and kind of see, is our bidets going to be helpful? Are they going to be useful?
Mhm.
Overall, throughout maybe a few months, is there going to be a difference from the time they received a bidet to the time 3 months later, I've been using it for a while? Is there going to be a difference? Is it making a shift? Are
Yeah.
people over it? Are they going to be like, oh, let's go for it. Let's change all our restrooms. Let's make that impact. Another thing is with those like low flow, like shower heads and things like that, there's also um, low flow, I guess the new toilets now
Mhm.
that you flush, they don't push out enough water into
Mhm.
our sewer lines. So that also kind of doesn't let the flow go because it's all gravity. So it's
Mhm.
not pushing that water, this, I guess, organics and inorganics, it's not pushing them out. So bidets will have that additional water and that additional push to go into our lines to kind of let everything flow better. So it's
Yeah.
kind of
I didn't
helps
even think about
the
the
thing.
low flow toilets because and then sometimes you take two flushes and then that goes all around the whole point of like having a low flow, where if you
Hmm.
like end up flushing more than once and then just using all that extra water anyway. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about a bidet adding a little bit more water to the toilet to help with the gravity. But then also you may not be putting as much stuff down there if you're using a bidet as
Hmm.
well. That's like I would just love to have that data. If we had a small community, like you said, had a before and after, had like a snapshot of every few weeks or months or between maybe their, I don't know how often they go and they have to take out these clogs. That's another thing is we want the conversation with those communities to see what might make
Hmm.
sense. And I look forward to that, having those conversations, and just seeing if it's possible, because I mean, it's like it's so worth it because if it is and it makes sense and the families save money on toilet paper and wipe usage, it's like a win-win-win for everybody. And again, it's a hypothesis, like none of this is like set in stone. But just from some of the numbers that I see from like just saving toilet paper, at least on the family end, I do see that from what I've researched. But seeing the utility side will be really wonderful. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it raises a lot of awareness, and it gets the utility involved with the community because they don't, a lot of the times people just they'd only call when there's a problem. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, what's going on? Why don't we have water? Why is there a leak? What is going on? And so to get preventative information out there where it's like, okay, we're here to teach you about this. We're here to help make a difference, kind of will help customers and residents kind of feel more comfortable with their utility. It's not just a utility. There's people behind it. There's people that work in the industry that are making sure that everything's safe for everyone, and also that the utility cares, that they
Yeah.
want to make a difference, not just with their residents, but with water in the world. So I think overall it's a great project, and was so happy to be asked to kind of partner and be a part of it because it was something so different and unique, that's like, okay, like how can we help? How can we make a difference?
Yay. Oh man, I can't top that. With that, I think unless there's any other points to add, maybe I mean our call to action is, we're going to try to be sending this out and pointing to this video for those that want to know more about what this is all about. Because I'm a very visual person, so I like, videos like this or something you can just even listen to. You don't even have to watch. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that before maybe closing this out?
Yeah, so this Sunday is World Toilet Day.
That's right. Hmm.
So I mean, you can appreciate your toilets a little bit more if we didn't have them.
Hmm.
I can't imagine the smell, the mess, the kind of outbreaks that we would have in our world. We
Oh
probably wouldn't
man.
even be alive to 30 years old if we didn't have hygiene and toilets. So we're very fortunate to have this lifestyle that we have a restroom in our home and a toilet to use, and everything just magically disappears and gets treated and we never see it again.
Hmm.
um, and if we
Hmm.
did see it again, we would definitely call our utilities and be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So it's more than just something you go and use. It made a big difference in our world, and so celebrate World Toilet Day on Sunday.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I just got a vision of like, because again, I'm a visual person, I'm a filmmaker
Mhm.
too. I was like, man, that'd be a really good like short film or commercial. Like you walk in to your bathroom and the toilet's like not there. It's just like an empty space. You're like, what are you gonna do? Like
What am
what
I
are
gonna
you gonna
do?
do?
Am I gonna go in a
So
bucket? What's going on?
yeah, when I lived in New York, you'd have to know where all the Starbucks were because you like the toilets access was there. You it was very apparent. You'd have to know. You'd have to strategize and know, okay, I'm this close to that toilet. So
Yeah.
I can feel that and understand that, and we should appreciate our toilets and have like it's just a funny subject too at the same time. But it's something we're excited about. I'm glad to be working with you on this. And I look forward to where this goes. And I just wanted to say another thank you to the Nouns DAO. We would not be doing this video. We would not be progressing with this progress or this proposal or this pilot rather if it wasn't for their sponsorship and their believing in this pilot and wanting to try it out. So really big thank you to the Nouns DAO. Um, with that, I think we're going to wrap it up, and feel free to ask any questions. You could email me at ryan@makewater.org, ryan@makewater.org. You can go to makewater.org and check out our website. Feel free to reach out to us if you're interested in learning more or wanting to participate. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you all for joining.
See ya.